For over 100 years, the city of Sector 7 had forgotten the color green. We traded our gardens for concrete. We traded the sound of birds for the hum of servers. We built towers that scraped the sky, but we forgot to look at the ground. In this world of steel and silicon, everyone was connected by a high-speed network, and yet everyone was alone on the inside. And then there was Sitaram, an old man with a strange stubbornness in his eyes. Sitaram was looking for something that the history books said was extinct. While everyone else was mining for cryptocurrency or upgrading their cyber eyes, Sitaram was digging in the dirt in a tiny crack between the concrete. People called him the crazy old man of Sector 7. They would laugh at him. They'd say, "That soil is dead. It's toxic. Nothing can grow in the shadow of the great towers." But Sitaram, he knew a secret. He knew that a forest doesn't start with 1,000 trees. It starts with a choice. It starts with one person crazy enough to believe that life can return, even to the deadest of places. On a Tuesday, under the orange glow of a bright neon sign that read, "Buy more," Sitaram planted the city's last hope in the ground. A small, ordinary-looking seed. He placed his hand on the ground and whispered 3 words. "I am here." Planting the seed was the easy part. Keeping it alive, that was a war. For the first 3 months, nothing happened. Just dirt. Passers-by would laugh. One day, a rich businessman in a hoversuit kicked Sitaram's water bottle over and yelled, "Move it, old man. You're blocking the signal." Sitaram didn't fight back. He didn't scream. He just quietly gathered the spilled water in his cupped hands and poured it back into the soil. You see, Sitaram understood something that they didn't. He wasn't just watering a plant. He was watering the future. He gave up his lunch money to buy nutrient-rich soil from the black market. He stood for hours in the freezing rain to make sure the gutter water didn't drown the seed. He became the guardian of the crack in the sidewalk. His hands grew calloused. His back grew bent. But his eyes burned brighter with every passing day. And then, on the morning of the 100th day, the miracle happened. 2 tiny leaves, green and alive. In a city of billions of grey pixels, those 2 green leaves were a shocking sight. They were an explosion of life. They were impossible. They were defiant. Sitaram touched the leaves with a shaking finger, and he cried. These weren't tears of sadness, they were tears of relief. He wasn't crazy. He was right. But a single sprout is weak. And this city is cruel. The real challenge wasn't nature. The real challenge was people. Dia was 10 years old. She had never seen a real plant outside of a museum hologram. She watched Sitaram every day on her way to school. One day, the heat was unbearable. The sun was baking the concrete. Sitaram was out of water. He looked dizzy, about to faint. Dia, who was watching from a distance, quietly came forward with her water bottle. She didn't say a single word. She just poured water on that plant. Sitaram looked up in surprise. Dia smiled, and then she ran away. The next day, Dia came back. But she wasn't alone. She brought a friend with her. The friend brought a small shovel. A week later, the owner of a nearby bakery stopped by. He brought empty eggshells for compost. "My grandmother used to do this, too," the baker said, his voice trembling. "I'd almost forgotten how good the earth smells." This is what Sitaram called the ripple. You can't force people to care. But you can give them a reason to care. The crack in the sidewalk became a pot. The pot became a patch. And the patch became a small garden. Someone hacked a nearby billboard to shine a grow light on it instead of an advertisement. A construction worker used his jackhammer not to build a wall, but to break the sidewalk open, to give the roots more room to breathe. The city authorities came to shut it down. They said it was unauthorized biological material. But when the police arrived, they saw that a wall of people was standing around Sitaram and his small tree. Children, old people, businessmen, bakers, everyone. The officer looked at the tree. He took a deep breath. And for the first time in his life, the air didn't taste like metal. The air had the cool and fragrant scent of rain in it. He lowered his bato. He turned to his squad and said, "Let it grow. Time is a funny thing. The days feel long, but the decades, they fly by. Sector 7, changed. Not because the government passed a law. Not because a corporation launched a new product. It changed because one old man was stubborn about his beliefs. The grey retreated. The green advanced. Rooftops turned into farms. Alleys turned into orchards. The city's air scrubbers were turned off because the trees were now doing that job for free. The mechanical silence of the city was now filled with the sound of rustling leaves and children's laughter. But if you look under the great oak tree standing in the middle of that district today, you won't find Sitaram. Sitaram never saw the forest. He passed away just 3 years after the first sapling took root. When he died, he was holding a bottle of water in his hand. Some people say it's a very sad story. But they are wrong. Sitaram didn't need to see the forest. He had already seen the forest on the day he held that tiny seed in the palm of his hand. He knew that we don't plant trees for ourselves. We plant them for the shade in which we will never sit. We all live in Sector 7 sometimes. Our world can also feel cold, grey, and impossible to change. You might think, I'm just one person. What can I do alone? Sitaram would have told you this. The size of the seed doesn't matter. The size of your heart does. Your kindness is the water. Your consistency is the sun. Look around you today. Find your crack in the concrete. Maybe it's calling an old friend. Maybe it's feeding a hungry animal. Or maybe it's just smiling at a sad stranger. That is your seed. Plant it, protect it, and watch the forest grow. If this story moved you, don't just watch it. Live it. Subscribe, share this with someone who needs hope, and tell me in the comments, what is the one small good thing you will do today? I'm waiting to read your story.